I think as it depends on the bird. Birds don't sleep as much as we do. Humans sleep a lot for animals in general.
And cats.
Some sleep more than humans, yeah. But a lot of birds will rest, especially in the afternoon when it's warmer out. Birds are most active early in the morning because, they're tired from flying through the night and they want to eat. So that's why we tend to go out birding early in the morning, because in the afternoon we just don't see them as much. They're away resting.
Yeah, and also it's kind of amazing how far and fast birds fly. It might only take them, maybe a couple weeks to get from Latin America to Canada. So they're not, most of the time they are not flying. They migrate at night, but most nights in their 365 nights, they're not flying. It's only, maybe a fortnight, 2 times of the year kind of thing. And they don't all go from, of course, they don't all go from Argentina to Canada. Some of them go from Mississippi or something. Yes. Yes, lady.
Oh, I love the movie, and I loved especially how it wasn't just a science or an animal movie, but how there was the human side, and about how one way in which humans interact with nature in a way that, maybe people in the audience knew that, but I didn't know that. So I'd like to know what you're doing next.
Oh, well, good question. I've actually been working on this film so much that I haven't gotten very far, but one idea is something I got very interested in making this film was the whole idea. I didn't, I kind of was drawn to the subject because I thought it was amazing that this existed in the middle of the city. The more I got into it, the more I realized that it's not alone, that there's all sorts of wildlife in urban environments, and that one comment that David Berg makes in the film, where he says, this is kind of a new nature. Maybe it's a new way of thinking about nature. So that's one idea that I'm starting to pursue, is the kind of a bigger picture of urban wildlife, and the kind of what is nature in the 21st century. The fact that, like, another point that's made is there isn't any unmanipulated nature anymore. So what is that balance like, and what is the nature of nature? But for your first comment, I want to again thank Pam and Tom, because I think between the two of them at one point figured they maybe made about 100 or either made or overseen about 150 or 200 hour-long or longer documentaries. And when I started this, I came out of features. I was totally into features and totally into birds. So I didn't really want people in it. I kind of wanted I didn't want to make a nature film per se, but I sort of thought maybe if I had a lot. Well, when Pam kept saying to me, "Who are your characters?" and I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" I just have some scientists talking, and anyway, it obviously emerged. And then when we met, that we got. I often say we got lucky. Anya was one of the things we got lucky with, and Chris Cooper, was so articulate. He happens to be one of the best birders in the park. And the fact that he, looks like a movie star was what?
He's really fun.
He's very funny. He's very funny. Very generous. He's really good, and he really can hear things from miles away.
But I think also the fact that you were so much a part of the birding community, they knew you as a birder, not as a filmmaker, so that people trusted you when you did start asking them if they would be in the film, and that would not have been the case with somebody just parachuting in.
That's true.
A lot of these are really private people.
Yeah.
It's a whole kind of subculture, a whole world into itself.
Like what I like to call them the Gang of Four, the 4 guys with their equipment sitting on there. They are. They're really great guys. That they are very they're kind of tough cookies, and the problem wasn't them. The problem was them trusting me, but you don't know what each other is in the park. We don't, you can figure on as a student, but, you don't really know what people do outside of the park. Yeah. So people didn't realize I had been working in film for 30 years, 25 years, whatever. And so when I started saying I was going to make a film, I think they just thought I was just, I was going to go buy a camera and, let's try making a movie. So I don't think they didn't distrust they trusted me that I wasn't going to, make birders look stupid or something, but I don't think the first time I asked Lloyd, one of the Gang of Four guys, to be in it, he was like, nah, I've been in another movie, I don't need to be in it. And then when he started seeing me, with interviewing everybody with crews, with equipment, and it's like, oh, maybe this is real. Yes?
How is Star doing?
Well, this last fall was the first time she didn't really go out 4 times a week. I think she went out 4 times total.
Yeah, I go on her walk sometimes, actually. She led some walks this last fall, but wasn't able to make all of them. But the walks still run. There are actually a couple other leaders, people who've been going on her walks for many years, who have continued to lead them when she's not able to. But she absolutely still goes birding.
Yeah, and she, last I heard about 2 weeks ago, she had the flu, so I'm a little concerned, you know. But, you know, I imagine she'll be back in the spring. Yes?
Just wondering how much, it was a great movie.
Thank
How
you.
much did you work with the Conservancy and what